Hello everyone, my name is Ian Scarfe and welcome to my living room in San Francisco, which has become a kind of recording and broadcasting studio since the pandemic crisis started in about mid-March. Since then, I've lost virtually all of my live concert performances, which makes up the vast majority of my income and my creative outlets. But also since then, I've been learning quite a bit about how much of of my career can transform into a digital format. You'll see I've got some gear set up here for a live streaming concert later today. Also, I've been going over lots of archival footage, and I found some recordings from an old concert at the Throckmorten Theater from the Wednesday noon series in the Tivoli Room. I wanted to put this video together for all of our friends at the Throckmorten and friends of the Throckmorten, just so that we could remember times gone by when we used to gather for concerts, live concerts and such. In any case, these recordings were made in December of 2017. That winter, I was doing a very ambitious program of solo piano music by the French composer Olivier Messiaen. Messiaen lived in the sort of middle decades of the 20th century and is really one of the great classical composers, one of the great modernists from this era. The selections that I chose were from his monumental piano work, VINGT REGARDS sur l'Enfant Jésus, 20 Visions of the Infant Jesus. This cycle is 20, as it suggests, it's 20 pieces of piano music. To perform the whole thing is nearly 3 hours of performance time. So what I did is I selected 8 of these movements and made them into an hour-long concert production. This I performed at many venues, including the Tivoli Room, and I think Messiaen would have really enjoyed that. Just a quick introduction to give you a feel for his music. Messiaen was a deeply spiritual person. He was a Catholic, and he tended towards perhaps the more mystical appreciation of Catholicism and of the stories of the Bible. The work that I'm playing, the 20 Regards, the 20 Visions of the Christ Child, are all these very mystical and evocative and almost impressionistic scenes from the early years of Christ, of the Nativity, of Mary and Joseph, and of other sort of peripheral things like the ideas of the cross and the bird song that surrounds the manger, and all of these things. And as you know, in the Tivoli Room in the front of the Throckmorten Theater, there's a beautiful mural of a garden scene full of birds. I know Messiaen would have enjoyed that because he was an ornithologist himself, and he included birdsong in much of his music, as you will hear in just a moment. So I'm going to share 2 of the scenes from this work of Messiaen, 2 recorded both in the Tivoli Room. The first one is number 8 from this cycle. It is called the Regard des Hauteurs, the Vision of the Heights, and in it Messiaen depicts the joyous flurry of birdsong above the manger in Bethlehem. So we're all familiar with the manger scene, in Christmas time. But if you can imagine that scene and then lift your gaze to the heights above it, Messiaen depicts the sort of spontaneous joy, the sort of holy. Messiaen thought that birdsong was holy music. It was as close as we got to God's expression of music. So that is a short scene. The second of the 2 pieces I'll share with you is the 15th movement from this cycle called Le Baiser de l'Enfant Jésus. It is the kiss of the infant Jesus, and in it he describes a scene like a garden scene in the Tivoli Room, where we are able to have a kind of a real communion with the Christ child. It begins with a very prayerful, sort of meditative section, and then as it builds, it becomes this kind of ecstatic vision. From what we know, Messiaen, he really did get these ecstatic feelings, from his belief in God and Jesus. So it's regardless of how you feel about Catholic faith, and the stories of the Bible, I think it is very powerful when it comes through in this music, such as the music of Messiaen. It's very easy to hear his inspiration, if nothing else. So I very much hope you enjoy these two beautiful scenes from Messiaen's VINGT REGARDS.